Hello everyone, this is Bijan. I'm back with the sculpture in ZBrush. We had the head worked on, now I bring a sphere in, trying to make the torso, the rib cage for the sculpture. I'm just trying to find out where the front is. And open a reference in the spotlight. Change the opacity a little bit so I can see both the reference and the sphere. Resize the reference spotlight. Trying to get the same shape as the reference for the sphere, just by pulling it and pushing it and getting oh close to what it should look like. And it's not going to be that important to get this precisely match the reference. I'm just trying to get a general idea of what the shape of the rib cage is. Now bringing another reference for the top and bottom, which again I don't really need it, but doing it anyway. All right, we're done with the spotlight. Put it away. Here I make the other tool visible. Then select the rib cage and move it down using the transpose tool. And over here I'm trying to get the general shape or size matching what I think it should be like. It doesn't matter. This right now is too big. I need to make it smaller because as I'm adding, muscles and sculpting more, it would thicken up anyway. I like to use the cranium as the unit of measurement for measuring the body parts and placement and what have you. So the rib cage should be about 2 craniums wide. That's the rough shape of the rib cage. Now I'm trying to copy it. Of course, I have to turn this asymmetry off and then tilt it and resize it and use that as a placeholder for the hip area. Symmetry isn't on, so I need to undo it and turn the symmetry, X symmetry back on. And I try to use the mirror and weld, but the object wasn't directly in the center of the x-axis, so I had to use the zero, or zero out the the position of the x, the position of the hip in on the x-axis, and then use the mirror and weld, and then turn the symmetry on, x symmetry on, so I can sculpt on it. Now I bring a cylinder over here to use it as the deltoids, shoulder muscle. Trying to get a bit of mass in there to use as a deltoid. Of course, these parts would be dynamashed and would have more uh, polygons to work with and sculpt it. So I'm not worried about what shape I bring into use. Sometimes I bring a sphere, sometimes a cylinder, or a cube. It really doesn't matter, because when you use Dynamesh, you can bring any shape and move them about and re-Dynamesh it, and you get lots of polygons to work with. No matter how much you stretch it, there's always plenty of polygons to work with. It's a fantastic feature of the ZBrush. I'm using the curve tube to create the bones, the clavicles, and you just draw a curve and a tube is placed where you drew. And to change the size of it, the thickness of it, you just change the size of your brush and click on it, and it changes. And then you can use the move brush and move it into place. And if it's short and you need it to be longer, you just get close to the ends, and you see a little line, a red line appears. That's when you can click and pull and extend it, which I'm doing it right here. In order to get rid of the curve, just click on the surface, it goes away. Now using the move brush and the smoothing, trying to shrink the thickness of it and push it into place. And I'm gonna use another cylinder to uh, put it in there for a placeholder for the upper arms. Turning the local symmetry on allows you to size it, and it won't spread apart. It just sizes it, and the mirror part of it would do the same. in its own space instead of moving out. So now I'm going to append a cube and reduce the size on one axis to make it flat, and I'm going to use that cube for scapulas. Using the trim brush to cut some of those corners to make it look like a scapula. I need to increase the density by dynameshing, using the dynamesh. Here I'm using the move brush and the clay build up brush and sculpting the scapula. I really don't need to do a fine sculpting of these pieces. The reason I'm doing this is to get a general idea where the scapula is, so I can put the um, trapezius muscles on it. But I get carried away and keep on pushing and sculpting more. It's a good exercise, so it doesn't matter. Here I can go out of the solo mode to kind of reposition the scapulas and see how big they're supposed to be and what angle. And turn the solo mode on and continue sculpting the scapula. It is so much easier to sculpt in ZBrush than trying to sculpt with real clay, and especially the fact that it takes so little time to create something three-dimensionally in ZBrush versus real clay. It's a lot more time consuming doing that. You have to prepare your armature and put the clay on. You have to prepare the clay. I usually work with oil-based clays, and they're usually either medium consistency, the medium thickness, or sometimes firm. And it is very hard to work with them. You have to preheat them. What I do is I put them in the toaster oven I put it on low settings and put it in a casserole dish, pieces of clay, and they get soft. And I prepare my armature either with PVC pipe and some foam to fill out the center, so you don't use a lot of clay. The clay can be expensive, plus the fact that it's going to be very heavy if you were trying to use a lot of clay. And then I use that soft clay to put it on. As long as the clay is soft, it is so easy to put it on. And but if the clay gets hard and you go away and come back, and you have to wait for the clay to get soft again, and once you put it on, then taking it off is you have to use a tool that sometimes you dig out, and you may dig out too much, and then you have to put some back on. And the same way with this. I mean, with this digital sculpting, you can see that I scrape away the clay and then put it back on and then smooth it. It's so much faster to put it on and scrape it away and smooth it. Whereas to use the real clay, be it water-based clay, oil-based clay, or whatever, it takes a lot longer. The only hard part about using ZBrush is the getting used to the interface and understanding all the ins and out of it, which I don't, by the way. I know enough to get me to get by, because this program is very powerful, and you can do a lot of things that you wouldn't be able to do it in real life with real clay. One of the feature in this one, which is fantastic, is the Boolean process, where you merge two pieces together and take out, subtract the intersection of two objects, or keep the intersection part, or take away the area where one object interferes with the other one. So you can come up with all kind of fantastic shapes using ZBrush. And it is fast. You can come up with a concept. Let's say if you were an artist who creates fantasy characters or whatever, you can quickly come in here and get a sphere and pull on it and push and create these shapes. I see a lot of people make sculptures where they're not really human, they're not animals, they're somewhere in between, and you can just do anything you want with them. Just quickly build shapes. So I really am enjoying sculpting in ZBrush, and I'm thinking, if I get a little bit more skilled with the interface and learn all the tools available in it, I'll probably do better. But for right now, as much as I have learned about it, in the last few weeks, I relearned what I have forgotten about it, because I used to use ZBrush many years ago, and then I put it away, put it aside, and never got back to it until recently. I decided that I want to use it again, and I'm glad I did, because it's very enjoyable to sculpting and use it. I strongly recommend this program to artists who are interested in sculpting. And I know the initial expense is high, but they have a basic version of the ZBrush, which is, I think, it's about $150, and you can buy that, and it has a lot of these features. All these things that I'm doing here, you can do it in the ZBrush core. And if you later on, you get good at it and you like to expand on it and have more tools available to you, more capabilities, then you can use that ZBrush core as in other words, the upgrade won't cost as much as a brand new Big Brother ZBrush. So you can go from ZBrush core to ZBrush full version with a little bit more money. So here we are at the end of this session, and I will see you all again soon with the next video. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave it in the comment section. Subscribe, thumbs up or down. Anyway, see you guys later.